Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be looking at a couple of games from a European team who tried to qualify to the RLCS World Championship through the Middle East Last Chance qualifier. Quite a few European teams tried to do this, but this was the most notable one. There was a bunch of drama surrounding this, and I've not yet made a YouTube video about it, so I thought, you know what, now that the dust has settled a little bit, now that all the information's out there, at least all the information that I could find, I can let you guys know what exactly happened, why Toxic and Raziers were playing in the Middle East Last Chance qualifier to try and make RLCS in Lyon. Now, we did join this Game 6 of this series that we're watching halfway through because there was a restart. I think somebody lagged in the server to be restarted, so it is 2-1 intentionally to the opponents in this one. But yeah, let me just let you know what's happening on your screen, and then I'll tell you the backstory as to what's happening overall, and just how ridiculous this whole situation is. It's something you've never heard before in the history of Rocket League, I'm sure. But yeah, this is Game 6, upper bracket. Winner of this makes top 4, and the loser is down into the lower bracket. So yeah, match point for TRT, the Europeans, Tox, Raziers, and Toxic. They're up 3-2 in Game 6 of the best of 7. They could close it out here and advance into top 4, just 2 matches away from Lyon. So this is getting pretty serious over there in Mina. They do tie the match here as well, with just 51 seconds to go. But okay, how did this happen? Let me just I'll do the best job I can to summarize, because this story is just so ridiculous that you guys have to know about it. And now, the previous season, Raziers played RLCS in OCE. He's played with a team who did make the Birmingham Major, did not make the Rally Major, actually missed out on Rally Worlds and also the Esports World Cup by just 1 game. Absolute insanity, but that's a story for another day. Tox and Toxic played in Middle East RLCS, so they actually did play Middle East this season. And for the last split, they were playing with Dr. Known, who's a pretty well-known player in the Middle East scene, up-and-comer, after, I think, a pretty impressive debut season alongside some other youngsters. Now, after what they would decide to be an unsuccessful second split as a trio, Tox and Toxic decided that they wanted to make a roster move, that they wanted to get rid of Dr. Known, and that they wanted to play with Raziers. So they told the org, I believe this is this is the best I could see, the best explanation I could see for what happened. Yeah, it makes sense. They went to the org, Al Qadsiya, because they were playing under this org, and they told the org, hey, so we want to change out one of our players, we want to pick up this guy. Sorry about the lag here, I don't know why the replay does that, but that is just a replay, and it does happen sometimes. Yeah, they told the org, we want to pick up Raziers, we want to play as the trio that are currently playing on your screen right now. But the org didn't want to part ways with Dr. Known. They thought, well, I don't know, we actually kind of like Dr. Known. This player's a player that we would like to continue to support. So they asked Dr. Known what his thoughts were, because, you know, when 2/3 of a team in Rocket League want to bench one player, that seems pretty straightforward. Oh, pause that thought, because we've got a team save. Yes, that's right, that was a team save. Could have been game over, but Raziers accidentally saved his teammate's shot in dramatic fashion. Let's watch it again, because I need to just pause story time so you guys can take in what happened here. Big bump, and then the landing, and then the team bump, and they've saved their own open net, so that's hilarious. Maybe a bit of karma there from the Rocket League gods against the invading EU players, but okay, let's go back to story time. Al Qadsiya, the organization over there in Mina, said, what do you think, Dr. Known? Your teammates want to bench you for this other guy. What, you know, thoughts? Obviously, he's not going to like that, but he then tells them that it's all good. He's got another team lined up that he wants to play with. And then the org, in their infinite wisdom, I mean, this is just hilarious, but the org decided to have the 2 rosters play. I think the initial plan was to play 3 best of 7s right there and then, to see who gets to keep the org, who gets to play under the organization's representation. And Al Qadsiya, being an org in Mina, could provide a boot camp and a salary and some other support. So this is a big deal. You know, Dr. Known's team, he was going to play with Nush and Ops. They actually did play the previous season of RLCS together, so the youngsters back together, up against Tox, Raziers, and Toxic. And they played 1 series on the Middle East servers, and then they played 1 series on the EU servers. And word on the street is that the MENA team Ops, Dr. Known and Nush, they won both of the best of 7s. So they won the org, which is already one of the most insane situations I've ever heard of. But you know what? Fair enough. You don't know which team to go with. You're an organization. There's 2 teams that want the contract. Why not? Why not let them play? If they won on the EU server as well, it would be a bit unfair to just only have them play on MENA. But apparently they won on both servers. They won a best of 7 on MENA. They won a best of 7 on EU. So they win the contract. Congrats to the youngsters from MENA. But that put a spanner in the works for TRT, our team that we're watching here, because now they don't have an org in MENA, so they can't easily get over to MENA to boot camp or to play in the region itself. Oh my goodness, how's that not gone in? Yep, the overtime goes on. So they had to decide, do we get over there, do we play from Europe? And they decided to just play from Europe. That's why you see that they got 96 ping in this tournament. So yeah, lost the contract because of scrims, or I don't know what you want to call it. And now they're playing the tournament with ping. They obviously weren't too happy about that. There were some tweets out there. I'm not going to show any on screen. I couldn't find the most relevant ones. But long story short, they were obviously not happy about having to play in Europe. And the MENA community was making fun of them for losing. These players were obviously fighting with their Twitter fingers. I don't know who was and who wasn't, to be honest. But yeah, there were definitely tweets going around. And it doesn't really matter. It's all, I think it's all fine at the end of the day. But yeah, there was the general consensus from the community that, well, they kind of did it to themselves. You don't have to play in this tournament. They could have played in Europe. They didn't. They weren't forced to sign up for the MENA Last Chance Qual. MENA Last Chance Qual happened 3 weeks before Europe did, so they could have just not signed up and then played the European one, and they would have been on low ping. They clearly didn't want to do that because they thought the European one would be harder. They were like, okay, well, we fancy your chances more playing in MENA with 96 ping than we do in Europe, going up against teams like Gentlemates, NIP, BDS, and other very solid European teams. Was that a good decision or a bad decision? We'll never know because they only played the MENA Last Chance Qual. You can't play more than one. But yeah, I'm not sure if it was a good idea. I wouldn't advise it anyway because I do rate the MENA teams quite highly. MENA teams other than Twisted Minds and Falcons. I think MENA is not a region that you could just go on high ping and win in. So I'm not surprised by this result well, spoiler alert, none of the European teams who tried to qualify through the MENA qual making it, which does, I guess, tell you what the result of this game is going to be, but let's see how. But yeah, all the European teams, and including, well, AJG from Sam also tried to qualify through MENA. They all failed. And I'm not surprised because the MENA players are all very good. But yeah, the MENA community were putting out some absolute bangers on Twitter. I mean, I don't know why. Maybe the translate for these tweets wasn't doing a very good job. Maybe it's changing it slightly. But Senzo, one of the GOATs from MENA, he tweets out when he heard about all the EU teams who were trying to play in the MENA Last Chance Qual. He tweeted out, well, I'm translating this with auto translate. We lash out of the region because they know they're not worthy of earning it with the sweat of their brow. I like those who still underestimate the region. He's talking about MENA there. By God's will, they will get crushed by our boys, which is just an absolute slapper of a tweet from Senzo. And after the event was all done and dusted, I'll show you some more post-event tweets as well. But let's see how this game ends, and we'll go to one more game while we continue to talk about like the my thoughts about this whole situation. I think it's just so silly. Now, first things first, the org making teams play against each other for the contract. I don't really. Some people were criticizing that, saying it's bad. I don't really have a problem with it, to be honest. I think it's fine. If there were 2 teams who, well, two-thirds of your team who you just had signed for the split want to go one way, the other player wants to go another way. They're kind of already separating, and they both want to stay with the org. Sure, you can't think of a better way to see which team's better. I don't see a problem with having to place it. I actually kind of like that. I was very happy with the outcome because I do want to see MENA teams in MENA doing well, being supported by the local organizations, which is what happened. But yeah, You know, players not liking it when they lose, understandable. None of that shocks me. I feel like that's all a pretty normal situation. Okay, let's lock in for a sec before we give more takes on the whole situation about players playing in other regions. I'll talk about that in a bit. But we're over 7 minutes into overtime here. Remember, this entire time TRT have been on match point to go into top 4 in the event and just be 2 matches away from Leon. But as you all know, if you're filling the blanks with what I've previously told you, they don't qualify, so they might not win this one. Although you can go through lures, maybe they do win this one. Maybe it is just over right here, right now, and they get eliminated by someone else. But yeah, this game of the series is so scripted. Nail-biting team save earlier on, also goalmouth scramble at the other end. I mean, both teams have been millimeters from scoring, but yeah, unable to get the winning goal quite yet. Over 8 minutes into OT now. Not quite season on the line, but upper bracket on the line. This is for top 4, remember, I'm going to keep saying it. And yeah, the majority of the chances, actually it's been pretty even. It's been 1 goal, 1 extra shot to the MENA players, now 2 extra shots to the MENA players, and Sleeping do send it into Game 7. Game 7, which I'm not going to show you, but Sleeping did win that and send TRT into the lower bracket. But honestly, one of the most ridiculous situations. This game, combined with just the whole backstory to this TRT team playing in MENA, it's one of the most ridiculous Rocket League scenarios that I've ever seen. But I do want to show you one more game for this video. We're not done quite yet. I want to talk a little bit more about just the general the situation that's enabled with this year's Last Chance Quals. Don't want to make it all about this one game. So let's watch one more game from another TRT game. Actually, let's watch their last game of the entire tournament. Alright guys, it's the last game of TRT's attempt to qualify through the MENA LCQ. Now, the observant ones among you will know, based on that information, that this is game 4 and they're down 3-0. It's the Utopia Coliseum game. It's always game 4 in RLCS, and in a best of 7 that means that yeah, they're on the ropes here. They're down 3-0, and this is elimination match. The loser of this is out, and they're up against Telem, Mossin, and SMW, 2 players who've made RLCS lands before from MENA, and also and I don't know why it does this. It lags again. Sorry about the replay lag in there. I'm not sure where that happens, but there it is. Yeah, it's not going well here for TRT. Our European invaders trying to steal away a spot from MENA. Now, I did want to talk a little bit about the fact that that's possible, because the way the Last Chance Quals work this year is that any team can play in any region's LCQ. Anyone can attempt to Last Chance qualify. So that means that if you are even from a region that didn't get a Last Chance qualifier, I believe, you can still play in another region's one. For example, OCE 3, who missed RLCS via not making top 2 in their region, they could just go play another region's LCQ if they wanted to. But yeah, anyone can play in any region. That's why we've got Europeans all over the place, because Europeans are just the most cringe of all the Rocket League continents, trying to take away everybody's spots and trying to punch down on newer regions and trying to abuse the fact that they've been in the scene for longer and had more practice to their advantage. But before we get too deep into that, I do want to also point out what's about to happen, because you guys remember the team save from TRT in the last game. They've only gone and done it again. That's right. 2 days in a row, they've saved their own goal. This one, it wasn't quite as devastating because it wasn't match point, it wasn't series over goal, but still, I think it's quite funny that it's happened to them 2 times in a row. It's so rare to see this in the highest level, but yeah, that's why we've gone this POV, and indeed why we went Razier's POV in the last game, just so we can see front row seats to the team saves. How do they do it? Yeah, Rocket League karma must be real. But yeah, what do you guys think about it? You can let me know in the comments. Do you think that teams should be allowed to play in any region's LCQ? Do you think you should be locked to play in an LCQ that's the same as the second split that you played in? So if you played second split in one region, do you have to try and Last Chance qualify through that region as well? Or should players be allowed to move? Because I do think that the fact that teams can just pick up a brand new set of 3, I kind of like that. I think that's fine. I know some people didn't like that part where you can just get a totally new team. But I think it's good. I like situations like Shopify grabbing Wavy and NA and winning. You know, being able to make a roster move. Or even just start with a totally new roster. I don't have a problem with that at all. I think that's fair enough. But yeah, the region thing, I get it. I'm with the region complainers, because I think it would make more sense to be locked to the region you've been playing in, at least the most recent split, if not on average throughout the whole season. It would probably make players stop trying to move around and yeah, having things like this happen. I mean, Europe are in every region right now. They're in APAC. We've had, I think, well, you're playing EU players in NA, one in SAM, I believe, was the last season of this one. We've had OCE this year, MENA now this year. Every region's just got Europeans in it, because Europe is the hardest region, and everybody who can't make it to lands through Europe just obviously think, well, what way can I go to make lands? And then they do that. I've talked about this issue extensively on my stream. I've talked about it extensively in YouTube videos, but in case you're new to the discussion, you know, my summary of it all is that I think, you know, when it comes to NA and EU, those are the top regions, the top two regions. If NA players and EU players want to move between NA and EU, I don't really have a problem with that, because I consider those two regions the top two, and it's lateral movement between the two. Any other region, though, going down to another region with a 2/3 or a 1/3, it to me doesn't. It's not. Yeah, it's not as equal. It's slightly less equal. So you know, you're going with a one local or two locals in another region. It's not as good as just switching from NA and EU, which I think is fair. Which is yeah, I think NA and EU, the original regions of RLCS, both get 4 spots. Pretty fair to move between them. SAM and MENA are the next strongest, so I guess, you know, you could see situations like Twisted Minds, as some people view that as like a good thing for the region, some people think it's a bad thing for the region, to have Naupo teamed up with other world-class players. Some people think it gives MENA more of a chance to compete and to grow. Others think it would be better if it was just 1/3 or maybe just fully MENA. I'm on the fence about that one, because I think MENA is obviously very, very strong as a region. But yeah, 3 out of 3 EU. I think this is just like too far. I'm like, this is too much. Like 2 out of 3, okay, absolute limit. 3 out of 3, nah, nobody wants to see this. And then for other regions, APAC, OCE, and SSA, any more than one player from EU on a team is too much. You know, 3 out of 3 teams, ridiculous. If you get 2 out of 3 Europeans on an SSA team, I think it's also too much. APAC, same thing. You know, I want to see like one at most. Like you got to have the local representation getting their chance when there's only the one spot for LAN in SSA and APAC. And yeah, when OCE are struggling like they are currently, but yeah, obviously it's harder to make those rules and set them in place than it's easy to, you know, talk about it, but maybe it's harder to do it in, you know, in reality. I don't know. We're gonna rewind and watch the own save again, just while we continue waffling here. But yeah, I would love to see some kind of region lock coming back. That's what I would hope happens in the future. I think it's just better when there is a region lock. Some esports have it, and I think it works very well. Where was the... Oh, yeah, it's here. Yeah, Razier's is the one with the shot. Okay, this is the team. This is the own save from Razier's POV. That's just unbelievable. Now, I don't know if Telem was getting there, but might have even been bouncing up into the bar. But either way, it's not improved the position. And just the fact that this happened the day after they've already done it is so funny. Yeah, looking for... I mean, you can see the idea that they're going for, but obviously not a good one in that situation. The previous own save of the other game is just absolutely takes the cake, though. But yeah, that's my summary of the whole thing. When it comes to last chance quals, main events, whatever in RLCS, I think the same kind of situation would be ideal for me in both. I think just to get a uniform rule across the board for every region, I think the absolute ideal world would be max 1 import player on any team in any region. But if you wanted to expand that to allow a little bit more flexibility between the stronger regions, maybe 2/3 in MENA and SAM, 2/3 imports, as long as you have 1/3 local, you're fine. And then for NA and EU, doesn't matter, free for all, because those are the big regions, the strong regions. And yeah, I don't see any, like the history of NA and EU is, well, at least from my POV, been fine. When full SAM and full EU teams went to NA, the general consensus from the community and the players and the casters and everybody was saying, yeah, bring it on. So, you know, if that's the response, then that's what, you know, if you ask for it, that's what you're gonna get. But yeah, they failed. The the EU invaders largely failed. So congrats to MENA. The team who did make it through for MENA was Rock. Very exciting team. I'm looking forward to seeing them play at the well, it's going to be the play-in first of all, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do make it all the way into the main event. This Team Rock, Twiz, Abdullah, Ghazi, extremely solid team. I think they. I'll even predict that they do. I think they will make it through the last chance, or not last chance qual. Sorry, the what's it called? The play-in. I think they will make main event in Lyon. But anyway, that's my best summary I could get for this. Before I go, I'll leave you with the post-event tweets from Telem and Abdullah. Telem tweets almost perfect sweep after eliminating Tox. He leaks ranked trash talk between the two of them, where Tox says, "You're not making worlds. I will beat you in LCQ." That backfired pretty badly, so Telem decided to expose that. And Abdullah tweets, "They won't qualify from our region. They tried to steal a spot from, or no, they won't qualify from their own region. They tried to steal a spot from MENA. We locked the door, broke the key, booked the flight. See you in Lyon." I mean, just absolute scorchers from the MENA players, community. Yeah, they cooked Europe. Europe got cooked. We got cooked as a fellow European by MENA. But I'm glad. I was hoping MENA would cook here, and they did. So congrats to MENA. Long may they continue to defend their own spots and show the world that it's not just the one team, or well, not just the one team plus Naipo and the rest of Twisted Minds. But that's it for this one. I think I got all the key tweets and story points from this, but hopefully you enjoyed. If you like more videos like this, where I let you guys know about something that's happened in the run-up to an event where that will be relevant, then yeah, let me know. I might make a video about NALCQ as well, because that was insane. Honestly, maybe even the EU. Yeah, if you guys like that, then let me know. But yeah, I'll probably have to do that when I'm back from Saudi, because I am leaving tomorrow for Riyadh. But this is all I got time for today, so hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.